Previously on Clayport for session May 16th, 2025. Twilight's Pact and the Ainhast Masquerade. Arrival at the Cloister of Shadows. Tasked with delivering the fairy box to the night glade after fending off quickling thieves, the party, Red, Umbra, Eric, and Aloe, reached the Viridian Emergence standing stones in the unusually balmy autumn night air. They sang Corvus's haunting melody, their voices parting a veil of heat haze and starlight, a fragile harmony weaving through the twilight. As they stepped across the veil, a Shadar Kai emerged from the shadows, clad in a diaphanous dress adorned with facial piercings. She stood tall and gaunt, her ashen skin shimmering like moonlit frost, a testament to her kind's bond with the Shadow Plane's eternal dusk. Her dress, woven from threads that drank the twilight, frayed into wisps of shadow and silver piercings through brow, lip, and cheek, glinted with mournful light, echoing the pain revered by the Shadar Kai. Her obsidian eyes held quiet intensity, and her hands, adorned with blackened bone rings, gestured with eerie grace, her shadowy aura both alluring and unsettling. The song is sung, the summons is heard, the master welcomes you into the night glade. The invitation is without expectation. Please come with me, she intoned, her chilling voice slicing through their fading melody. The night glade unfurled, a twilight realm of half-ash trees with frosted leaves, crickets chirping softly, and a few fireflies flickering under aurora-streaked skies, their sparse glow hinting at the season's unusual warmth. Green flashes pulsed above, solar echoes that Aloe, a verdant being with a herbalist's soul, sensed as time's unraveling thread, stirring his primal affinity. Red, her charm radiant as dawn, asked, "May I inquire your name?" The guide replied, "I am Jill." "A beautiful name," Red said, her voice a gentle bridge. Jill continued, "Where we are, it's always twilight. My service ends when I no longer feel pain or when dawn's light breaks." Umbra, clutching the fairy box, suggested, "Perhaps Corvus can provide an hourglass to track time beyond this endless dusk." Red added, "A frost whisperer once told me Corvus grants us 3 nights with him, but how do you count nights in the night glade?" Jill remained silent, her steps leading forward. The party followed Jill through frost-kissed hills, their steps crunching on moss-slick stones that hummed faintly, a warm autumn breeze carrying the scent of damp earth and ancient whispers. As they ascended over a hill, a cloister loomed, a fortress of shadow with jet-black spires piercing the sky, their tips glinting with starlight. Obsidian walls, veined with glowing lichen, encircled a courtyard where a colossal ash tree pulsed ethereally, the night glade's heart. A few fireflies, drawn to the tree's faint glow, fluttered in delicate spirals, casting fleeting shadows across vine-etched arches. Red paused, a ritual echo stirring, a memory of a woodland rescue tugging at her soul. "This place feels like it's watching us," she murmured, her voice a thread in the twilight. Aloe inhaled deeply, sensing kinship with the tree's roots, tied to his creator, Rowan. "It's alive," he whispered, his verdant essence quivering. Eric, wary, eyed his crossbow. "Seen this cloister before," he grunted, recalling his family's caravan visiting this place once when he was young. Tales of fey riddles. "I remember this place. Didn't care for it then, don't care for it now." Umbra, silent, scanned the shadows, the fairy box's glow pulsing in rhythm with the tree. Jill gestures to the arched entrance, her dress shimmering like liquid twilight. "Enter freely," she said, her voice a cold melody. "The master awaits." Red's diplomatic nod steadied Eric's scowl, Aloe's curiosity tempered by Umbra's caution. They stepped across the threshold, the air heavy with secrets. Shadowed corridors, carved with flickering runes, opened before them. In shadowed corners, other Shadar Kai lurked, their ashen forms barely visible, torturing each other in quiet pleasure with delicate blades, flames, and whispered chants, their pain-fueled rituals a silent testament to their kind's devotion, sending a chill through the party. One could smell the faint smell of burnt flesh. They approached the center courtyard, the ash tree's pulse a heartbeat in the twilight, drawing them deeper into Corvus's enigmatic welcome. The Feast of Shadows. "Ah, welcome," they heard as Corvus descended a balcony with theatrical grace, captivating Red, who noted his entrance for future courts, a flourish worthy of Fey intrigue. "Thank you for joining me in this place," he said, his voice a velvet snare. "This isn't my home, you know. More of a, shall we say, hunting lodge. Please, make yourselves at home." He led them to a private chamber resembling a seedy restaurant, its low ceiling and scarred wooden tables crowded with shadowy, veiled figures and sharp-eyed fae sipping dark liquors in hushed tones. They sat at a table in the far corner, the flickering candlelight casting long shadows across their faces. The table groaned under vegetarian delights, stewed berries with tart sweet nightglade elderberries and frost-kissed currants, roasted parsnips and beets laced with wild thyme, each leaf a glistening jewel. A Shadar Kai sommelier, his gaunt face pierced with silver, presented a bottle of wine, opened it, placed it on the table, and then presented a dark dagger of polished bone. Petrified wood with a hilt of dark crystalline, pricked his long finger and let a few drops of his own blood drop into the bottle before offering it to the group, the crimson blood mingling with the dark liquid. Eric winced. Red, eager to accept his hospitality in the most diplomatic fashion, took a glass and savored the wine, its velvet grape flavor cut by a coppery tang, anchoring her envoy role. Umbra sipped thoughtfully, their eyes locked on Corvus, weighing his intent. Eric snapped, "I'm not drinking anyone's blood." Pulling out his flask and taking a swig in defiance, Red's charm cloaked his etiquette breach, her voice softening the tension. Clearing her throat, she said, "I would like to thank you for sharing with us information used by Eric for something he sought on an island." "We did go to the island, thank you." "Interesting indeed. Offer Corvus your flask, Eric." "Don't be rude," she quipped, her tone light but pointed, a reminder that Corvus had gifted Eric the spark of his magic. Corvus slightly smiled as to overlook the faux pas. Over a second goblet of bloody wine, Umbra handed Corvus the fairy box he so desired, and Corvus presented them with a magical walnut shell, its polished surface etched with spiraling runes pulsing with opalescent glow, starlight trapped within. The coin-sized shell hummed with fey magic, promising hidden paths through realms unseen. "This is a small piece of what you seek," Corvus said softly, his voice a whisper of secrets. "In appreciation of you bringing me my prize. Perhaps it is enough to travel, but certainly much of yourself would be well. I'm sure you understand." Umbra bowed, saying, "You honor me," tucking it away, their fingers lingering on its warmth. Eric interjected, There was a lot of help from the rest of us, mainly. Me, keeping the quicklings from running off with it." Corvus smiled faintly, his eyes glinting with amusement. "I know, Eric. And now I have another proposal for you," he said, his words a delicate thread drawing them into his web. In the flickering candlelight, Corvus, his voice sharp with intent, drew the party close, the air thick with conspiracy. I hold an invitation to the Ainhast Gala, but I cannot attend. My presence would be cursed, and my purpose exposed," he said, eyes glinting like polished obsidian. Lowering his voice to a conspiratorial murmur, he continued, "You will go in my stead. You won't be noticed, and in your own disguises, of course. Within the castle lies the Turning Leaf, an artifact of great power, mine by right, lent to another who has failed to return it. Steal it back, or destroy it if you must, but ensure it does not remain in her grasp. And here, plant this," he said, producing a piece of tattered cloak, its edges frayed like a forgotten memory. "To frame our rival Viridius for a theft and sully her reputation. She hoards spells, culls them for her pleasure, and this must be stopped." He paused, his gaze sweeping them, a predator assessing its allies. "Succeed, and I offer boons. Red, your true name, I know it, a secret to help unravel your past." Red's smile tightened, masking fear, her heart a tangled vine. "Eric, the arcane growth you seek, shadow and force spells to surpass even your father." Eric's scowl deepened, gripping his flask, though a flicker of intrigue sparked in his eyes. "To you, Umbra, I offer more shells for Second World passage." Their guarded nod showed caution, a shadow of distrust and excitement. "And to Aloe, growth? Or maybe a material reward? We can discuss?" Corvus leaned back in his chair, his smile a crescent moon. "I'll give you a few days to think about it." 3 days with the Viridian Druids. For 3 days, the party lingered in the cloister's eternal twilight, hosted by the Viridian Druids, who tended the grounds and the colossal ash tree. The party met with Corvus to discuss the Quickling theft, presenting him a tattered, bloody red cap, its crimson stains making it dry and crusty. Corvus burned it in a brazier, green flames licking the air as he informed them of the Fey market where Quicklings are hired, hinting at a Gala rival's plot, maybe. A thread of intrigue woven into the Ainhast Gala's tapestry. Red, thinking Eric could use it for their Gala caper, inquired about the illusory object spell on his behalf. An unnamed druid with eyes like moss agreed to teach its basics, aiding his deceptive plans. Each started preparing for the Gala. Red practiced her Mother Bloom Jinjin Sunsetter persona, as well as staging a whimsical funeral for one of the dead Fae found in the decoy Fae box, summoning Tiefin, her ether sprite, to lead mournful and theatrical wails and shed shimmering tears, with Corvus lending his power to amplify the rite, testing the cloister's magical wards, but also rehearsing Gala deceptions. Meanwhile, Aloe crafted a runed boomerang, its edges humming with primal energy, and masked his verdant aura, receiving seeds from Sylph. Umbra, secretive and silent, honed stealth in hidden passages, a shadow among shadows. Eric researched his Lem disguise. He had heard so much about him around the caravan campsites as a child. What songs of his he heard, he hated. On the second day, Eric was sold a broken tusk pendant by one of the druids, a magical ivory necklace carved into a wolf's likeness, its power a quiet promise accepted temerity. Umbra, with Sylph, deciphered runes hinting at the Walnut Shell's Second World paths, sharpening their Gala stealth, each symbol a key to unseen realms. Aloe tucked away his seeds, frost-kissed currant, starbloom, shadow fern, their potential a whisper of growth. On the third day, the group gathered under the ash tree, the crickets chirping and fireflies faintly glowing. The cloister's gaze tightened, judging their worth. Corvus's voice rang out to the group. "So you've decided, it seems. The Gala awaits. Prepare yourselves." his words a final thread binding them to their mission. The druids surrounded them and began chanting. Transported to the Ainhast Gala. The air shimmered as Corvus's gesture unraveled the night glade's twilight, the cloister dissolving before their eyes into a meadow bathed in silvery mist, autumn grasses swaying under an emerald violet sky, a few fireflies fluttering toward distant torchlight in the warm dusk. The party stood transformed as the order of the budding meadow. Red as Mother Bloom Gingin's sunsetter, her auburn-grey hair adorned with spring flowers, declared Gingin's sunsetter, her illusory object spell honed, her pink sprite apple ready for distraction, a spark of deception in her smile. Umbra, as wing feather keeper, hid the walnut shell in plain robes, their stealth sharpened for the gala, a phantom in the twilight. Aloe, his master Wild Bush, wore verdant robes, his hammer, buckler, onyx dog figurine, boomerang, and seeds, frost-kissed currant, starbloom, shadow fern, tucked away, his aura masked like a forest cloaked in mist. Eric, as Lem, a fabled halfling bard, clutched a homemade prop flute he carved out of bamboo that he had no ideas if it would really play or not. His crossbow hidden, his research disguise strained, a fragile mask over his restless spirit. As they walked the cobblestone path toward Crescent Hall, there came a shimmer in the air. A slight breeze. They stopped in their tracks to watch appear their old acquaintance, Igor, flickering into view like an ancient ghost, translucent, and clutching a glowing book that pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, its cover shimmering as if woven from starlight. "Igor?" Red gasped, her voice sharp with recognition. "Red, the voice in my head. Is that you? Is this what you look like?" he cried, his tone urgent, his voice echoing across the meadow. "I don't have time. Son of a bitch. I've been shown a book." "What the?" Eric murmured. "Liz needs it," Igor said, exacerbated. "The goddess of dreams?" Red inquired, her mind racing. "Yes," Igor replied, his form wavering. "And bring it to the second world. Book needs to be in our world. 3 travelers, 3 lost, 3 souls. Title is 3 times 3. This in-house. It looks like this." Eric scowled, bewildered. "Dude, what the actual fuck are you talking about?" He held up a thick book, its faint, translucent pages seeming to hum with cryptic significance, a relic of dreams and destinies. Igor started to vanish. "Shit, I go now," he said, fading into the mist, the ghostly image of the book's afterglow lingering briefly. Red murmured, "Liz carries weight. She wants us to retrieve this book. I wonder why." Tying it to a half-remembered opera house shadow, her voice a thread of curiosity. Umbra gripped the walnut shell, its runes pulsing in rhythm with their heartbeat, a silent vow. Aloe quivered, sensing the meadow's primal echo, his verdant soul stirring. Eric muttered, "What an odd thing to happen." Steadying his crossbow, the broken tusk pendant at his chest a quiet anchor. Crescent Hall materialized as the party marched over a hill, a foreboding edifice rising from the mist like a predator poised to strike. Its dark wood exterior, weathered by centuries of autumn storms, was carved with intricate bas-reliefs of snarling beasts and twisting vines, their details softened by moss and lichen. Towering spires, jagged as broken fangs, pierced the twilight sky, their tips crowned with iron gargoyles, whose eyes seemed to glint with malevolent awareness. As the group stared agape at the spectacle, the rhythmic clip-clop of hooves on cobblestones grew louder, drawing their gaze. Coming up the road was a magnificent carriage, its polished wood gleaming with intricate gold leaf. Swept past, pulled by a team of 4 perfectly matched, high-stepping horses. Inside, they caught a fleeting glimpse of a lady in a grand bonnet, a testament to the opulence and status gliding by. Her and her companions giggling as it drove toward the house. The hall's crescent-shaped facade curved ominously, its massive double doors, black oak inlaid with silver runes, flanked by braziers spitting emerald flames that cast eerie shadows and drew swarms of moths and a few fireflies in frantic orbits. A cobblestone path, slick with fallen leaves, wound through a courtyard strewn with gnarled trees, their bare branches clawing at the air, crickets chirping in their shadows. Torches lined the path, their flickering light revealing the arriving guests. Fey nobles in shimmering silks, their faces hidden by jeweled masks that gleamed with enchantments. Gaunt Eladrin with eyes like burning coals, cloaks trailing mist, and sly quicklings darting between, whispering secrets. Some arrived on spectral steeds, their hooves silent on the stones, while others emerged from portals that flickered like dying stars, their laughter sharp and otherworldly. A pair of hags, their gnarled hands clutching staves, cackled as they hobbled past, their gazes lingering on the party with unsettling intent. A footman, his eyes glinting with fey cunning, took their invitation, barely noticing them. His velvet livery embroidered with crescent moons. He ushered them through the looming doors into an entrance hall where skull chandeliers cast eerie light on axe and rapier-adorned walls, moths and faint fireflies circling the flames. The air thrummed with power, the distant hum of crickets blending with the murmur of arriving guests and the sound of music coming from somewhere. Among the guests, one bore a military bearing, straightening his tunic with crisp precision, while his lady, elegance incarnate, touched her hair in final preparation. A woman's rich voice proclaimed, "Graham of the Knights of the Sixth Circle and consort." They stepped forward, descending a staircase into the throng. The ballroom gleamed with grandeur, balustrades curling like vines, balconies cloaked in twilight, windows spilling starlight. A crystal chandelier shed shifting light, yellow at its candlelit core but fracturing into blue, orange and deep green on the floor, dim and otherworldly. Staircases spiraled from an encircling walkway to a polished dance floor. Musicians in a corner played a soft, pervasive melody filling the air. The dancing hadn't started, but a mingling stirred, guests weaving secrets like threads. "Well, isn't this fancy?" Eric quipped half derisively, taking a gulp from his flask. "Is anyone in our party a good pickpocket?" From a balcony above, Ainhast, the hostess, presided, her deep red lips a stark contrast to her pinned hair, adorned with a dangling bangle. Her gown, a restrictive cascade, framed her in a tilted chair that angled her over the railing, her gaze predatory. Beside her sat Dion Shinkin, a dazed young mortal, his brownish blonde hair unruly, his fancy attire stiff. Ainhast's hand patted his, a possessive tether. As the party advanced, a tall woman by the entrance, imperious in Ainhast's deep red textured silk, stood adorned only with a double chain from shoulder to waist, holding a ring of keys and an open leather folio. She announced, "Gingjin Sunsetter, Mother Bloom of the Order of the Budding Meadow, her acolyte, Wing Featherkeeper, a master wild bush of the Budding Meadow, and Lem, companion and musician." Aloe muttered, "Another himbo," his verdant wit sharp. Red stifled a laugh, spotting Eric's holy symbols glinting. She prayed to Hindam and Delamel to shield him from this culling of bards, thankful for the druid's theatrical mutagen. After a moment, she prayed to Lys, the dream goddess, sensing their fates entwined, too late to escape her pull. The air thrummed with power, crickets' hum blending with guest murmurs as Red's charm steadied the party, stepping into the Ainhast Gala's web of deception. This concludes the Previously On for Adventures in Clayport, May 16th, 2025.